So in 2007, when the CrossFit Games started, there was 60 people showed up to Aromas, and then in 2008 we had the CrossFit Games, and I think there were like 2,400 people showed up, and basically that's when like sort of the chip on the shoulder started, like fuck you guys, we're the fittest ever, no decathlete can win this, and then the debates, and then like the internet was starting to become a thing, and people started debating about who was good and who was the best, and is CrossFit really crowning the fittest in the world, and that debate kept going for let's say 2 or 3 more years, but by 2010 it was kind of like if you were still having that debate, you weren't paying attention. It didn't like those guys were established. Greg Glassman had defined fitness, and like it was its own thing. It was almost like punching down to decide if there was someone who could come from another discipline who was fitter. This is all my opinion, by the way. This isn't like truth. And so, but during those years from like 2007 to 2010, there was always this like, like, fuck you. You want to come to the CrossFit Games? You throw the javelin at the Olympics? You think you're a good swimmer? Come on, come over here. We'll give you a free pass. We'll let you get in and beat your ass. There was like that whole bravado that we all had. And then within the CrossFit, all the people, the media, like everyone walked around like they owned the place because it was like a tribe that was just building, right? There was like, even up until like whenever 2010, when there were 3,000 gyms, we all still kind of all knew each other. So flash forward to the year that you got invited, and that was like such an archaic move in everyone's opinion who worked at HQ, except for Greg, who owned the company, to invite someone. We were so past that. That would have been a great idea in 2009 or 2010 or 2008, but like that was a stupid idea when you were invited to a lot of us. By the way, I've never really spoken about this with anyone. I just assumed that we were all on the same page there. And so when you were invited and Greg did that, not only were people hostile towards you, but they were hostile towards Greg. Like, who the fuck is this guy? The rest of us earned our spot to get here, whether you were a photographer, a film guy, a referee, but most importantly, an athlete. And to be honest with you, I think it fucked up Ben Smith's reputation too, to accept the invite. Because like that, the sport had gone beyond that. So then when you were invited to be in the frat and you didn't have to get hazed like everyone else, people resented you to no fault of your own. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think that's where you got the kind of the pushback from the community, or us assholes at CrossFit who like walked around with a chip on our shoulder.
I fully understand it.
You're not going to come in here and fuck any of our girls.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, like it's over and done with now.
It's so over and done with. I agree.
It'd be interesting if they had kept it up from that point on and tried to like really create some kind of, I don't know, true storyline to their convincing fact of them being the fittest. I think that the fact that they tossed me in there and then they're never planning on bringing it back again just makes it a weird mark on the history of CrossFit, but also interesting.
Right.
And like
right.
I certainly would have loved to have spent more time in the realm of CrossFit, and that was like the first year they introduced cuts. So like I just didn't really get to show what I was made of. Like,
right.
But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. Like a lot of me like afterwards was like, screw it, I'm gonna double down and I'm gonna train. And then all of a sudden, a couple months after the fact, I was like, I don't really want to do this. And now here we are, and I'm still competing in my sport, and they're still competing in their sport. But I eventually get to compete against these guys every once in a while when they decide to kind of dip their toe into what we're doing. Like we have our version of the CrossFit Games that happens again in October called the Spartan Games. And we had a bunch of CrossFitters come over and compete against us last year, which was entertaining. And now we'll probably have a bunch of come over again.
Is that the thing Sam Briggs did?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it's awesome. Like, I mean, it's a different version of what you guys are trying to accomplish.
Not me anymore. They fired me.
Well,
you can say it's okay. No, it's okay. You can say those
what
guys.
What the sport those guys are trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
It's definitely much more like extreme endurance skewed, but hopefully they refined it a little bit more this year because last year was nuts. I think we had like 13 or 14 hours worth of cardio within 3 days.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
We had Sam on the show, and I want to say that she said something like there was like a run for 6 hours and see how far you can go, or something that made me feel very uncomfortable. Like when she said it,
it made me feel uncomfortable.
Gave me the EBGBs.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all either. I felt like crap.